We have with us tonight a panel consisting of Kathy Curvin, Andrew Briggs and Helen Brooks, so our two assistant principals and our Careers and Pathways Coordinator, and they'll be available at the end of this presentation to answer questions that you put in through the chat function. And we also have our two college captains, Dana Lewis and Reese Watson, who will join us later and give their perspective on the course counselling process and the value that they found in it. Like I said, the virtual information evening tonight is all about our pathways into senior school. So for our current Year 9 and 10 students, this is an opportunity for students and their families to hear about all of the various opportunities that are as students transition. We are very proud at Echuca College to be able to offer a range of senior school programs that can help a whole range of different students achieve their pathway goals. We want to ensure that students feel supported and to make the choices that are going to be best for them and their future pathways. And whether that be an opportunity in an apprenticeship or a traineeship, whether that be in towards university or straight into the workforce, we want to make sure that students make those choices that are going to benefit them. So we offer two main certificates at Echuca College, the first of which is the Victorian Certificate of Education. This is the one that the majority of students across Victoria and indeed at Echuca College will participate in. Students usually undertake the VCE as part of a 2-year program, and in order to achieve the VCE, students must satisfactorily complete at least 16 units. Now, most of the students at Echuca College will complete many more than 16 units, but 16 is the minimum. That includes 3 units from the English group, and students must complete both Unit 3 and 4 successfully, and 3 other sequences of Unit 3, 4, and that is a choice of a wide range of subjects. The Victorian Certificate of Applied Learning, unlike the VCE, does not provide a pathway to university straight out of school, and that's really important. If students are wishing to go to university or are thinking about going to university, they must select VCE. Our Victorian Certificate of Applied Learning, or VCAL, is the alternative program for senior students, and it's recognised as an equivalent program to the VCE. It provides practical, work-related, on-the-job experience, as well as literacy and numeracy skills at a high level that are important for life and work. Students who are studying a VCAL typically are those students who may be interested in completing further training at TAFE, starting an apprenticeship, or getting a job after completing it. Well, in order to be able to study VCAL at Echuca College, there is a selection process that all students need to undertake if they wish to enter our VCAL program. So we classify Year 10 as our first year of senior school. And the reason we do this is because we see that as the beginning of a journey that will end in those students graduating at the end of Year 12. And we talk about some Year 10 students doing a fast track subject, and myself and some of the other people tonight will talk about that. But Year 10 really is the beginning of that journey, and the choices that students make at Year 10 will have an impact on the choices that they can then make at Year 11 and Year 12 in terms of their subjects. We also have a very strong VET program, a vocational education and training program at Echuca College. There is a bit of a misconception about VET in that it is a standalone program. It is not. It is a range of subjects that can be studied as part of a VCAL or VCE program. VET subjects, VET courses are completed over 2 years, and many students elect to choose a VET subject as part of their Year 10 program instead of a VCE subject. But what students need to understand about VET is that once you enrol in it, it's a 2-year commitment to ensure you get the certificate of that particular subject. If you choose to do a VET subject as a Year 10 and as a Year 10 student, we have many successful Year 10 students in our VET programs currently. You need to understand also that that counts as 2 electives, so 1 per semester. And our VET certificates are nationally recognised certificates, so there's certainly some benefit from undertaking a VET subject at the Please keep in mind that some of the advantages of completing a VET subject is you can graduate with 2 certificates. So VET, a standalone nationally recognised certificate, plus a VCE or VCAL. VET subjects do count towards a student's ATAR, and they do this in one of 2 ways, and information about how they count towards the ATAR is in the course selection booklet that will be available shortly on our website. VET also provides the opportunity for structured workplace learning, on-the-job training, if you like, and it can give you a head start into the workforce. It prepares students for employment and enhances employment prospects. Often employers are looking for students who have completed VET subjects if they're looking to go into a particular industry. So, for example, a student who is looking to get a carpenter's apprenticeship may be well suited to our building and construction program. And of course, it can also be used to obtain casual employment while students are completing. So there's many, many benefits to a VET program, and you can see on the screen there the VET certificates that are going to be offered in 2021, and they will be part of our regular timetable block. And it's important also to understand that VET subjects do not incur. We also have school-based apprenticeships and traineeships at the college. A student who is doing a school-based apprenticeship or traineeship are basically employed under a training contract to work with an employer 1 day per week. It's a school-based apprenticeship or traineeship is a partnership between the student, the parent, the school, the employer, and a training provider. And students will be expected to complete on-the-job training and complete theoretical modules that lead to a nationally recognised qualification in a similar way to a VET program. SBATs also contribute credit towards a VCE or VCAL, and we do ask that if students are looking to undertake an SBAT, that they are primarily responsible for finding an employer that will take them to one. There's also an exciting opportunity at Echuca College for a select group of students to undertake a Head Start apprenticeship. Head Start apprenticeships are slightly different to SBATs. In that the aim of Head Start is to ensure that students complete well. Often with SBATs, we find that employers are keen for students to start their apprenticeship early, and the outcome is sometimes that students don't complete their Year 12 certificate. With a Head Start apprenticeship or traineeship, students are encouraged and expected to commit to completing their VCE or VCAL whilst completing their apprenticeship. The aim is that they spend increased amounts of time in the workplace each year. And of course, it depends upon the requirements of the employer, but you can see there on the screen that a day a week of paid employment is in Year 10 is the norm, up to 2 days in Year 11 and up to 3 days in Year 12. So students who are undertaking a Head Start need to be really committed to their studies and committed to their apprenticeship or traineeship as well, in order to make sure that both of those receive equal. Your Head Start coordinator at Echuca College is Andrea Knight, and you can see her details on the screen there. Like I said, this presentation and this slideshow will be available on our website after tonight. But if you would like further information, please do contact the college or contact Andrea directly for more information about Head Start, and she'll be able to point you. So I want to spend a little bit of time now looking at the requirements and looking at what the different programs may look like at Year 10 and at Year 11. A Year 10 program consists of a number of compulsory subjects and a number of electives, depending on the choices that you make. For all students in Year 10, English is compulsory. For all students in Year 10, maths at either general or methods preparation is also compulsory. We're really excited to be able to announce a new subject for Year 10 students for next year called Community and Me. This subject will contribute to a partial completion of the VET Certificate 2 in active volunteering and will be compulsory for all students. Students will work with local businesses, community organisations, studying first aid, mental health, sexual health, drug education, nutrition, and skills required for work. There's a real focus on volunteering in the community, personal responsibility, and the development of self-awareness through Community and Me. And it is a subject that we are excited to see how students receive it. There are also a number of choices at Year 10, more choices than students have had in their previous years. So in Year 9, you opened up to a few electives, but now you can choose up to 7 electives as part of your Year 10 program. One of those electives must be a science subject. One of those electives must be a humanities subject that you study for a semester. Like I mentioned before, Year 10 students can also select from a list of VCE and VET subjects, and we call that fast-tracking VCE. You can see on the screen there a typical Year 10 program. So in semester 1, this particular student is studying English and a level of maths. They've chosen humanities to study in semester 1. The compulsory subject of Community and Me is there. They've chosen one elective, and then they've chosen to do a VCE or VET subject in place of their final elective. In semester 2, you can see there English and maths and science are there. There are 2 electives this time because Community and Me is no longer there. And then that final slot can be a further elective or a VCE subject or VET certificate. So there are many, many choices that Year 10 students need to make. And I think this evening is the start of that investigation and the start of making those choices. I'm sure that many, many Year 10s will have an idea about the subjects that they would like to study. Many Year 9s will have an idea about the subjects that they would like to study in Year 10 next year. But many won't, and that's okay as well. That's where evenings like this evening and conversations with your peers, your teachers, and the course counselling process will be so valuable. A Year 11 VCE program, and I'll focus on VCE first and then move along to VCAL. We have 2 different choices of English at Echuca College. We introduced English language at Unit 1 and 2 this year, and it's been really successful and really well received by students. We have mainstream English as well, which is more typically the style of English that students would be used to studying. And English language is the information about that is also available in our course. We do expect all students at Year 11 to study at least one maths. They can study a general maths, which is a transition from general maths in Year 10. They can study methods on its own, or they can study methods and specialist as a combination. Just keep in mind that students who are choosing specialist in Year 11 cannot study it on its own. They must also choose maths methods. And there are 4 other electives or units of study that students must select per semester. And they can choose this from VCE Units 1 and 2. If they've done a Unit 1 and 2 this year, then they can do a Unit 3 and 4. And they can also choose one VET certificate. But please note that students can only choose one fast-tracked option. So if they've done a VET or a VCE subject this year, they can carry on with those. If they've done both, they need to choose which one they're going to do at the 3-4 level for next year. You can see on the screen there a typical VCE program. And you can see the number of electives that are available for students to choose. It is largely a student choice as to which subjects they choose. And that's what's so exciting about making these selections for next year. I've spoken a little bit about fast tracking a VCE subject. For those students moving into Year 10, this is a great opportunity to experience a VCE subject before attempting a full Year 11 or 12 program the following year. And a sixth VCE subject can also help maximise your ATAR if you complete one in Year 11. I'm going to spend a little bit of time now talking about a VCAL program. You can see on the screen there the options for VCAL, and VCAL is very much a set program. There are much fewer choices for students going into a VCAL for 2021. So all students who are going into VCAL will do literacy, numeracy, and personal development. The choice that they get is which vet certificate they do, and next year we're changing the structure of our VCAL program so that all students who are doing intermediate VCAL will do 1 day of work placement per week. At the moment, students who do VCAL do block work placement. And block work placement means that they might go out for a week into a workplace, but while they're out in their workplace, they will miss a week of school. What we're doing is dedicating a day for all VCAL students to be out of the college and working with a chosen employer. And the advantages of this is it means that students will get much more on the job experience. They won't just get 5 days per semester. There's potential for much more of that. And there's also the potential for students to change employers if they're finding that one particular work placement isn't working out for them on that day a week. So this is an exciting change for us as we move into Year 11 VCAL. And it's important to understand again that VCAL is a select entry program at Echuca College, and it is by application only that students will be able to choose. You can see on the screen there a typical program for VCAL students, which is very much the same as the previous screen, but you can see how the subjects correspond from semester 1 and into semester 2. And it's important also to understand that once a student chooses a vet certificate, which is compulsory, there are very limited options for changing that vet certificate partway through a VCAL program. So we're going to turn now to preparation that students can do for the course selection process. And in order to get a different perspective on this, I've probably spoken for long enough at the moment, I'm going to ask Reese Watson, one of our Year 12 college captains, to step up to the microphone and tell us about his experience through the course selection process over the last several years. Reese.
Hi, I'm your 2020 school captain, one of them. I found the course counselling program very beneficial when choosing my Year 10 and 11 subjects. Going into it, I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to actually do, and it was a great opportunity to speak with somebody I knew, like my teacher, and somebody who knew what I would enjoy. Yeah, so it helps you narrow down your choices as well, and gives you the opportunity to talk with somebody from our school who is very educated in the different subjects we offer. So yeah, like I said, going into my course counselling, I wasn't 100% sure if I wanted to study science and maths or humanities, and it gave me the opportunity to talk with my teachers, talk with my parents, and decide that I did prefer studying science over humanities. And yeah, so I'll just hand over to the other school captain, Dana, and she'll expand on that a bit and talk about it as well. Thanks.
Hello, it might be hard to see me a little bit, but Going into year 10, I was a bit confused about how to choose my subjects probably. I didn't really know where to go, and then it was really hard for me to like find resources, but through the course counselling process, which the school offers, I was able to talk to my teachers and really see what I was good at. Like they told me what subjects I was good at, like what I need to work on, I guess. It narrowed down my interests a little bit more. And yeah, it's really important to be able to talk to a lot of people about what you think you want to do, what you're good at, and the course counselling program is really important in helping you to do that because there's a lot of choices out there and you might feel a little bit overwhelmed. So talking to your teachers, to your peers, maybe even yourself, seeing what you think you really like, what you really don't want to do. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I'm sure you're all giving Dana and Reese virtual round of applause for that. Thank you very much to both of them for coming along tonight. It's always very difficult standing up in front of a camera. Cameras don't tend to have action. Well done to both of you. Thank you. All right. So, as both of our college captains spoke about, it's really important to discuss discuss your choices with a wide range of people. And in that discussion, it's very important to decide on the subjects that you're interested in. There's lots and lots of different resources out there, and Echuca College has a very well-resourced careers page, which you can see the link on the screen there, or you can follow the link in Zoom. What I would really strongly encourage you to do is to read the curriculum also on YouTube. Speak with your teachers. As Reese and Dana said, careers advisors, parents, they can really help our students with all of the pathways that are available and guide you on the best way to achieve your pathway goals. So you can see there on the screen just a screenshot of what our careers website looks like. And there's a whole range of resources there in the drop down underneath the senior school. Information about our VCE, our VCAL program, our vet subjects and what that looks like. Lots and lots of information from the Victorian Tertiary Admissions Centre, which oversees the admission into university for all students across the state. One of the really useful guides you might find there is the Year 10 guide and the guide to the ATAR and scaling. So those are two really useful resources for students who are thinking about going to university. The Year 10 guide is really valuable because if you are thinking about a university pathway, even if it's something that you're not too sure about, choosing the right subjects at Year 10. It gives you an understanding of how the ATAR is scaled. And for those of you who will receive an ATAR in a couple of years' time, it gives you current rules of ATAR in that second. You can see a couple of screenshots there. That's what they look like. And I encourage you to go on with your parents or carers and have a look and have a bit of an explore. Like I said, there is so much information out there, and we've tried to dilute it down a little bit to the most important thing. It's really important for all students who are interested in a particular university course to make sure that you check tertiary prerequisites and any entry requirements for courses you might be interested in. So you can enter your VCE study program on the VTAC website to see which courses you meet the prerequisites for. And you can refine this based on the institution, the university you want to go to, the qualification level, and a whole heap of other things, area of interest. And Year 10 students can compare different potential VCE programs to see the impact of those that those different subject choices will have. So you can see there just a couple of, again, a couple of screenshots. You can enter your study plan there. You can search for particular courses. Most university courses will have a minimum entry requirement of a study score of 25 in English. Sometimes it's 30, but usually not lower than 25. And some courses will also have prerequisites around a particular math subject. For example, high-level engineering courses often have a tertiary prerequisite of math. Many courses will have desired subjects that they like students to study prior to going to university, and they're worth checking out as well if you're having any trouble thinking about which subject. So it's important really just to keep your options open. Studies show us that at the moment, in our lifetime, people change their career 6 to 8 times during their working life. And with the current circumstances, it's important that students really do keep their options open, because there will be a range of opportunities in employment coming up in the next few years that people perhaps didn't think were opportunities. Like I said before, many students won't have a clear idea of what they would like to do, and that's perfectly fine. It's about choosing the subjects you enjoy, that you get something out of, able to help you get. We want to invite all parents, carers and students to our course selection, our course counselling evenings, or days, really, days and afternoons, on the dates that you can see there. Students and their parents will book a time to talk to a course counsellor via Microsoft Teams to make their subject selection. Students who can't make it to those course counselling days should complete their selections in web preferences, and I'll show you a couple of screenshots about that in a moment. A link will be sent via Zuno for web preferences, and that's a new program we're using this year to streamline the way that students make their subject. On the day, on Wednesday, the 5th of August, that will be a student-free day for our current Year 9 students, so they can come in and select their programs so they can log into Microsoft Teams. Still taking me a while to change that language. So they can log into Microsoft Teams and talk to a course counsellor. And on Thursday, the 6th of August, that will be a student-free day for our current Year 10 students. So they can do the same with their course. So in order to book your course counselling session, you can make a booking on Zuno under the school tab, and bookings will open tomorrow morning. A staff member will contact you and your child on Microsoft Teams within the allocated time slot once you've chosen it. A current Year 9 students, so Year 10 students for next year, will be on Wednesday, and current Year 10 students, Year 11 students for next year, will be on Thursday. It says Wednesday there, but it's Thursday. I mentioned before web preferences, which is a new program that we're using for this year. Makes it a little bit easier for students to make their course selections. And I'm just going to show you a couple of screenshots. So when you are sent a link, you'll be sent unique login details as well. And when you log in, you'll see this screen first. There's a range of links there that you can access in order to look at some resources to help you make the best subject choices possible. But then when you're ready to make your selection, you just go in via the green button there, add new preferences. And that will take you to the next screen where you choose your study stream. And for Year 10 students, there are 3 different options. For students who are just selecting a straight Year 10 program, you just click the top button. For those students who are selecting a VCE fast track option, then you select the second button. For those students who are selecting a VET fast track option, you select the third button. And for all Year 11 students, VCE or VCAL, you select the fourth button. So that's it for the formal presentation tonight. I want to thank you. I've noticed that our numbers have gone up over 100, so I'm really, really pleased to see so many of you online tonight, and I hope that the presentation part of the evening was useful and informative. What we're going to try and do now is have a bit of a Q&A session, and what I'd encourage you to do is to open up the chat function, which you can find in a little chat bubble, hopefully at the bottom of your screen. And we're just going to do a little bit of setup here at this end as well, to ensure that we're ready to go to receive questions. I'll either answer the question myself, or I'll hand over to one of our panel, Kathy, Andrew, or Helen, to answer as well. If you just bear with us a moment, and we'll get that set up and ready to go. Sorry, couldn't hear me for a moment there. So the question was, will students be provided with a printed booklet? We will have some copies available at the college for students to look through, but no, not all students will be provided with their own individual copies. We've got another question here. Can you tell me a bit more about the English that I should do in Year 11? And the difference between English language and English. Mainstream English is very, very close to the English that Year 10 students and Year 9 students would be doing. English language is much more about the study, the history, the etymology of English language, and rather than completing the study of texts and plays, novels and movies, you really do study how the English language has been formed over many centuries. How new words are created, basic things like verbs and nouns and pronouns and adverbs, and it's a really interesting subject for those students who think quite pragmatically. So it often suits students who are doing a maths-based program or a science-based program, but it also suits students. So I had a question up on the screen. What if I don't retain all the information given in this meeting? That's a fantastic question, because there is a lot of information tonight. We are recording this presentation, and we will have it available on our website in the next couple of days. And of course, if you have any questions at all, please just make sure that you do ask Helen or your house leader or a member of the leadership team, and we'll be happy. So another question we've had pop up is, if at the end of Year 11 I decide I want to follow a completely different pathway, what should I do? And I'm going to hand that one over to Kathy Curvin to answer.
Thanks, Simon. Look, I really encourage you to put the effort in now as a Year 10 or Year 11 student to really think about the pathway that you're choosing in the next couple of weeks. There is some scope for changing subjects at the end of Year 11, but you can understand that if you've missed an entire year of chemistry as a Year 11 student, it's very difficult to pick up subjects like that in Year 12. There is some scope. There isn't very many prerequisites at the end of Year 11 to go into Year 12 subjects, and there is some scope for students to change path and perhaps go from a VCE program to a VCAL program, remembering that it is select entry to Tudor College and there would need to be an application process at the end of the following year. But I do encourage you to put the effort and time in now to choose the best pathway for you, so that you really don't have to make those alterations at the end of Year 11. Thanks, Simon.
Thanks, Kathy. All right, another question I have here is, what do we do if we're not available for the course selection times? And I'm going to hand that one over to Andrew Briggs.
Hi everybody. Great question. We know you have very busy lives, and scheduling an interview on the Wednesday or Thursday may be challenging for you. So what we ask you to do is just contact our lovely office staff and make an alternate arrangement. Also keep in mind that all interviews will be conducted via Microsoft Teams, and that gives you the opportunity to conduct those remotely. And obviously just contact our lovely office staff and they'll be able to help you out.
Okay, thanks, Andrew. Another question we've had pop up is, do I have to do a vet course in a VCAL program? And I might hand that one over to Helen.
Thanks, Simon. Yes, students selecting do need to select a vet course. It's a requirement of the VCAL program because it's a work-related program in VCAL. The vet course is basically mandatory, so that's the purpose of doing a VCAL course, to enhance the vet program.
Thanks, Helen. Okay, getting some other good questions up now. One of the questions, sorry, just trawling through them here. Some of you are just interested in how you apply for a VCAL program, and Helen, I might hand that back to you again if that's all right.
Yes, so when you are entering your course, if you're either doing it with the course counsellor or if you are doing it on your own, you need to go through and enter the VCE program that you would prefer to do should you be doing VCE. And then at the bottom, I think, of the screen, there's an option that you would like to apply for VCAL. And if you do that, there is an application form to complete with the course counsellor. Or if you are doing it outside of the counselling sessions, then you can do that with myself or another senior leader at the school. And then there'll be an interview process for selection for places in the VCAL course.
Thanks, Helen. That's a really important one because we want to, we do have limited places in our VCAL program, and we want to make sure that students are doing that program for the right reason. Another question that's come up is about whether or not students will get their first selection in all of the subjects they've chosen, and I might hand that over to Kathy Kirvan to answer.
Thanks. We really try very hard to make sure students get their preferred program. On some occasions, some subjects are unable to run because they're not very popular, and in those years, the student might be asked to use one of their preferences. So it's very important when you are doing your selection process. There are some preferences down the bottom that you would be willing to do if you're unable to get into the course of your choice. On some occasions, Year 10 students might like to fast track, and obviously we need to give all of the positions available in a Year 11 subject to Year 11s first. So at times, students who would like to fast track might miss out, but they are given an opportunity to select another fast track subject. But the reason why we ask you to do the process that we're asking you to do is so that we build our program based on your needs and what you want to do. So the vast majority of our students will get their first preferences. It is important to understand, though, that just selecting a subject doesn't guarantee you a place in that subject. So the process down the track is you will be informed of what subjects you have been given, usually around late October, and then you have an opportunity to revisit those subject choices if you'd like to make some changes then. So we keep you, all students, informed of all of the processes that we're going through to build our timetable, and give you lots of opportunity and voice along the way to make changes if they're needed. Thanks, Simon.
Thank you. Another great question about vet certificates and whether or not we will be cancelling certificates after the first year. No, we won't be. Once we have a vet certificate. I know this did happen a couple of years ago, but once we have a vet certificate on our scope, we are also committed to continuing it for the 2 years. So thanks for that question, and a really important one because it highlights the need for students to commit to 2 years of that vet certificate. The fast track subjects for Year 10 students are available through the course selection booklet, and they're also available in the drop-down menu of the web preferences. Another great question there, where those fast track subjects for Year 10 are available. Generally, and I might hand over to Kathy to answer a little bit more about that as well.
Thanks, Simon. Look, fast tracking is a really great advantage and something you should certainly consider. I think. Sorry, Simon, can you just ask that question again?
Yeah, it was about where.
Yeah, okay. Look, I think the best thing to do is to talk to your counsellor when you are working through the process, and to speak to your teachers. There are some subjects that certainly lend themselves better to fast tracking. I don't think we would see anyone fast tracking methods, for example, but subjects like biology as a science works well as a fast tracking subject. Legal studies works well as a fast tracking subject. So I think if you're interested in fast tracking, the best thing to do is have a chat to teachers in the area that you are already working with, to find out who's teaching those senior subjects now and have a chat to them. And certainly that's what course counselling is for, is to speak to your course counsellor about the sorts of choices that you're interested in, and get some help about making those choices. And don't forget that vet subjects are also part of the fast tracking process. And again, have a chat to students who are already doing those subjects as a fast track, have a chat to teachers of those vet subjects. There's certainly a lot of advantages to doing a fast track subject, but certainly some of them lend themselves better than others. Thanks, Simon.
Thanks, Kathy. There's another great question come up here about fast tracking a VCE subject and whether or not that lessens the load taken in year 11 and 12. The idea of fast tracking a VCE subject is to add value to the ATAR at the end of year 12. So even if a student undertook a VCE unit 1 and 2 subject in year 10 and then did the 3-4 equivalent in year 11, we'd still be expecting that student to do 5 3-4 subjects in year 12, giving them a total of 6 unit 3-4 subjects, and thereby maximising the score that they can get from those subjects to contribute towards the ATAR. There's more information about how the ATAR is calculated in some of the booklets that I've pointed to tonight on our website. I won't go through it in great detail here, other than to say that up to 6 unit 3-4 subjects can contribute towards the ATAR, and most students do 5. So by doing a 6th one, a unit 3-4 subject in year 11, you are giving yourself a small advantage over other students. I'll just wait a moment or two longer to see if there's any other questions which pop up via the chat. They've been great questions so far. Thank you. Another really good question is about the best pathway if your child only wants to do an apprenticeship and preferably leave school prior to certificate completion. The best pathway in a scenario such as this would be to, again, choose subjects that the student enjoys, choose subjects that the student is interested in, and will complement the pathway of that apprenticeship. So, for example, if a student is looking to leave school early, they still need to continue with the subjects that they are doing up until, and continue to complete them successfully up until the time they choose to leave school. But we would encourage all students to complete school, and we know that students who complete school have many more options available to them than students who don't. There's certainly a good point about students working very hard in the VCE and VCAL, and it is important for students to find that right balance of challenge and doing subjects that they enjoy. Students do need to be challenged in the subjects that they do, and certainly the subjects that we offer at Echuca College find that right balance. I'll give one final opportunity for any further questions to be asked. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for attending our virtual parent information evening tonight. It is a change to our normal process, of course. And if you do have further questions after tonight, as I'm sure you will, then please make sure that you ask them at the course counselling evenings, or that you contact the college and speak to one of our front office staff to have your inquiry appropriately referred. Our course counselling sessions go for around 20 minutes. And you'll be asked to choose a particular time frame within which we will contact you via Microsoft Teams. So thank you once again to our college captains for coming along tonight. It was great to have your input, Reece and Dana. Thank you, and thank you to our panel, to Helen, to Andrew, and to Kathy. And I would like to send a special thank you also to our IT guru for the evening, Dilshan, who made all of this possible. So thank you very much, and have a wonderful evening. Good night.